Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with one and only Cookie Pirate. Today, we're back in Alaska. Gonna fly the Diamond DA40. We're going from Junction Airport. 45 minutes or so northeast bound to the little town of Eagle, which only sits about 1 or 2 miles from the border with Canada. So, climb aboard, fly right seat, and let's go. Great visibility, wind 120 at 4. Alright, we're looking pretty good here. I knew something was kind of off there. Would have been real time. I was gonna say, it is, it's like the middle of the day and they're getting 22 hours of sunlight up there right now, probably. So I wondered why it looked pretty dark. Yeah, I hope you all are doing well to start to the weekend, and I'm stoked. Run for some pre-flight checks real quick here. The parking brake is set. Fuel selector is at normal. Yep, power lever is idle. Alternate air is good. Play that song again. I really enjoy this song. Anyway, alternate air is good. It's closed. Electric master is off. Avionics are off. Essential bus is off. Engine master is off and guarded. Fuel pumps are off. The voter switch is on auto. All lights are off. The emergency switch is off and covered. ELT is armed. Circuit breakers are in. Flap selector is up. Pitot heat and fuel transfer tank systems are off. Fuel, passenger, and cargoes are all loaded. Passengers and cargo. Alright, real quick, let's go ahead and turn the engine master on. AHRS needs an alignment. It takes just a second here. Cockpit lights not needed. Floodlights not needed. Instrument lights not needed. Flight controls will check after the AHRS finishes alignment. Radios are set. G1000 is on. Fuel quantity looks good. Total time in service. Tachymeter showing 14.9. Tells you how much I've been flying this plane. I have almost 15 hours in the Diamond. In addition to the other time, I have a bunch of other planes. But I've grown to love this plane. It's super easy to fly. It's real responsive. Let's do a flight control check. Rudder is good. Ailerons are good. Elevator is good. It's forgiving. I've had an absolute blast flying it. Makes me want to go fly a Diamond in the real world, which I have. I've not flown the DA40. I have flown the DA20. Absolutely loved it. But I really would like to go and fly the DA40 sometime. Alright, strobe lights are on. Prop area clear. I mean, this won't be a factor. Actually, once the engine starts, For all practical purposes, she is clear. Engine master on, we'll put the cover back on. We need to wait for the glow indicator to clear. It is clear. Start the key. Oil pressure is up into the green. The temperature is right on the top of the yellow. Just a second here. Amperage voltage looks good. Let's check pitot heat. Slight drop. It's good. Avionics on. RPMs are idling at 856. That's fine. Oil pressure still looks good. Okay, FMS setup. The flight plan is in. Altitude, we're cruising at 7,500. FLC set to 88 knots. CDI is set to GPS, we're good. Position lights, alright. And I got one of my hat switches programmed for the flaps. So just looking out, I can actually toggle them down. Let's go flaps half. Good. Fall. Good. All the way up. Good. And we'll set back to half for taxi. Our altimeter here on the ground at talk. 30.16. That checks out. 1643 is the elevation. And yeah, that looks right about right. Standby horizon is set. Transponder. Altitude. 1200. Engine temperatures are all looking good. Taxi lights on. Release the parking brake. And let's begin our taxi out. Brakes are good. There's the town and one of the highways that runs through, and we need to head out this way. A little bit bumpy on the ground. Probably surface irregularities. Alright, coming up to the actually, let's just stop here because you actually can taxi that way. Now we're kind of starting to roll downhill. Let's put the parking brake real quick. Let me just take a look at the weather to see what runway is favored. So 25 and 7, and the wind is 120 at 4, so that favors runway 7. It's getting hard to reach out. So we'll be taking runway 7 with a left-hand turn. So we actually can release the parking brake, and I think we want to... Yeah, we're going to taxi down that way. We should be able to make the turn. Parking brake release, let's go hard right rudder. gentle on the power when we can use differential braking if we need to. Nope, we've got this actually. We're good. Gonna be absolutely beautiful scenery on the way up to Eagle. Absolutely beautiful. It's one of the prettiest parts of the state. I mean, there's a whole ton of them, but this is gonna be spectacular. I think you all really enjoy the scenery for this. I like how they have the homes sitting like right here next to the taxiway. That's actually really pretty though, if you think about it. And my control inputs are so touchy right now. And it's a narrow taxiway, so I'm kind of all over the place, but the hold position is not marked, so we're actually just going to stop plenty back. Right here should be good. Let's set the park and brake real quick and run through the before takeoff checklist. Alright, parking brakes are set. Flaps are set to take off. Trim is set to take off, so we're good there. Real quick, check the flight controls again. Rudder is good, elevator is good, ailerons are good. Back into the cockpit. Engine instruments are all in the green. Good on fuel. Pitot heat will not be needed for now. Turn the fuel pump on. Landing lights on, taxi light off. Transponder is set to 1200 in altitude. Runway, I see the number 7 right there, so we want to take off runway 7. And we are good to go ahead and taxi out onto the runway. For VR is 69 knots, we'll lift off, we'll rotate at 69, we'll lift off in the low 70s, we'll pitch for VY, which is 80, we'll climb to 2,400 feet, which is about 800 feet above the ground. At that point, we'll engage the autopilot, which will pitch for 88, and we'll make a turn. And that reminds me one thing real quick. Let's actually, this is a good practice to get into, is just set the heading indicator for runway heading. That's fine there. If we have to continue out on the heading for any reason before we engage the nav function of the autopilot. Alright, cross-check full power. Engine instruments are looking good. Airspeed is alive. A little bit of a crosswind from the right. A little bit of correction there. 61. There's 69. We can rotate. We're off at 72. Got a positive rate of climb. You can go ahead and bring the flaps up. Let our speed come up here. Just passing over the town or village of Tok. Or Tok. I think it's Tok. Pitch up slightly here. That's a pretty view. I mean, this is open. You don't see a lot of open fields out here like this. We're looking for 80. We're just a little below that, so we're okay. There we go. Looking for 2,400. We're actually almost there. There we go. Let's go ahead and engage the autopilot. Turn nav mode on. And it doesn't want to, so we'll turn the heading selector on. And we have terrain clearance. We're good to go ahead and spin back around here. There's the airport over at Tanacross, which is just up the way. There's a couple other airports in talk. This right here is the Tanana River. That's the one that runs up through Fairbanks, or just south of Fairbanks, basically, and into the Yukon in the village of Tanana. If you look down, you probably aren't going to be able to see it, but there's a town down there called Northway, which is where the Tanana River splits into, you have the Nabesna River and the Chisana River, I guess is how you say that. And they join together there and become the Tanana River, which flows up through Talk to Tanacross, up through to Delta Junction, where the Delta River runs into the Tanana River, and then basically up to Fairbanks, and then to the town of Tanana. It runs into the Yukon. Now where we're going is Eagle, which sits on the Yukon River just inside the border. Before you get to Canada, we can come back on the power to 95%. Couple climb checklist items here. Parking brakes, confirm release, flaps are up. Fuel pumps can come off. We can turn the landing light off. Climb power is set. And once we reach our cruising altitude, there we go, we're intercepting our GPS course now. Once we reach our cruise altitude, we'll accelerate, we'll pull back to 75% power on the throttle, and we'll just cruise on our way. So yeah, you can over here see the Tanana River. And I think that's the actual town, and we're going to be coming up into the mountains here. Over the mountains, pretty much the entire way to Eagle, we're going to be just over mountains. Now, they're not the highest mountains out here. They're probably more hilly. But yeah, that's going to be some beautiful scenery. So yeah, if we look back, here is the Tanana River and just some settlements. Now you see more mountains over that way. Super pretty. Look out over that way. That is, it flattens out a little bit. And that is where you're going to find Northway. There's actually a wildlife refuge out there. And these mountains out down here, I believe, are in Canada at that far out. Yeah, these are more hilly, although there are some mountains of prominence. Get more of the high mountains out that way. These are definitely more hilly. Pretty nonetheless. Still a little snow cap at the summits of some of these. Alright, we have reached 7,500. We'll bring the power back. Well, it feels like we climbed really fast. Alright, for 75%, and we won't need to do any fuel transfers until later in the flight. So at this point, we should just be able to sit back and relax for a bit. Well, probably going to be about 40 minutes en route. We have pretty much a direct crosswind. Out here at 7,500, the air temperature is right at 0 Celsius. On the ground, it was 19. Yeah, 19 to 66 Fahrenheit. I'll pull the map up real quick, you all can see. So here's Talk, where we took off. Tanacross is over here. Northway is down here. And trying to pinpoint a couple things on the map. Trying to make out these lakes that are kind of right in here. Okay, yeah, so now I know right about where most of this here. The Canadian border runs basically right here, so we're not too far removed from the Canadian border, because if you look all the way back here, this is Golconda. That's Delta Junction, and Fairbanks is up here, so we're a fair ways out. Eagle, on the other hand, is right up here on the Yukon. And this is an MOA, what they call a military operations area. And this MOA stops I think not even I think like 2 or 3 miles from the Canadian border. So the border with Canada runs basically right here. So it's really close. We will have to watch our airspace to avoid flying into Canada. I mean, ultimately in the simulator, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But in the real world, we would need to be careful of the MOAs to make sure that they weren't active before we would proceed. We'd otherwise have to go below, above, or around. And, yeah. Make sure we don't fly into Canada. Or get permission to go into Canadian airspace. I'm gonna do a little planning ahead here. At Eagle, the wind is 120 at 10, gusting to 18. Clear skies, good visibility, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. The seam of the terrain over here kind of looks a little off, but oh well. Let's see what's up in here. Oh, the Taylor Highway. Taylor Highway is this road that's kind of running through here. And that road goes from a town called Tetlin Junction, which is just outside of Talk, where we took off. And it goes... It actually goes to Eagle. Okay. So that's how you would drive there. And there's an airport called Chicken. I'm looking at the map, and we fly right over. It's actually about the halfway point. Is an airport called Chicken, and I have a feeling this is it. This over here is Canada. I don't think we'll be able to see it, but, well, maybe. I don't know. I was gonna say, I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but we might. Nah, I think it's gonna be too far. But really not too far removed from the old famous Klondike gold mining town of Dawson. In fact, that would be a hop, a skip, and a jump away from Eagle. We landed there, it would probably be about a 30 to 40 minute flight over. Probably not even that, actually. Maybe 30. We're looking pretty good here. We got right about a direct crosswind. That's pretty. Couple mountains over here. I believe this is Mount Fairplay. Yeah, that's what that's actually named. Yeah. Yeah, right up here. These two green dots are the summit. Oh no, that's Divide Mountain, and there is another one. Somewhere out around over there. I think Mount Fairplay is actually this right here that's just behind us. Kind of this brownish peak. You can go out of the cockpit and look. Yeah, that has to be it right there. So that's an indication we're about a third of the way, I would say. The Chicken Airport. As funny as that sounds. This is Dawson right here, by the way. So yeah, we're not far removed from it. Yeah, so Mount Fairplay is about the third waypoint. Chicken Airport is about the halfway point. And when we get to there's something called the 40-mile river, is, I would say, the 2/3 point. And we won't be flying directly over it, but we're gonna see it almost right below. Just off our right side. That's where the Chicken is, and the 40-mile is right, basically. There, now it shows up. Yeah, basically right around here. This intersection of the rivers, this junction. Maybe not quite the 2/3, but close to it. Speed's being a little bit variable. There's a little bit of light turbulence just going over the hills and the mountains up here. It's not bad at all. And as we're getting closer, we can see Canada. Pretty much at furthest range that we're looking at. Pretty mountains coming up over this way. Yeah, chicken. Okay, so this is Alaska on the map that I used the Sky Vector. We started here, and we're going here, and we are about right here. So pretty far out of the way of the other places we've gone through, which was kind of up through here. And I did some flying around up through Fairbanks and Sheena Hot Springs, Central, up to Fort Yukon, Chandeleur Lake, which is yeah, they're right there. And Aktuvik Pass down to Bettles. But from Bettles, I don't really feel like flying on a stream. It's just, I mean, I guess you could, but everything's kind of removed, and it's flat, and it's distant, and the weather late, yeah, it's a little bit rougher. It hasn't been terrible, but I don't know. I just think there's more interesting places to show or whatnot. But this part of the state is really pretty. So Fairbanks is over here. Delta Junction is here. And so we're pretty far out of the way of stuff, and just this entire path is going over hills, mountains. Dawson is right here. And yeah, okay, you can see now, this is how close to Canada we're gonna end up being. So yeah, alright, back to the sim. There's Chicken Airport. No, wait. I can't believe I just did that. Oh. Okay. So there's that, there's the hills. And it actually, if we look in the distance out here, it looks like the mountains start to get a bit taller. And what I'm looking at is, yeah, is that Arctic Dome. This is one of the mountains there. North Peak. And that's all kind of before you get to the Yukon. Kind of in the flats, although the Yukon flats are really further up. Like Circle and Fort Yukon. Up here, I just saw on the chart, it kind of does flatten out, but you still have a fair bit of hilly terrain. And it doesn't really flatten out, excuse me, substantially until you get past Circle. And that's why, where it kind of becomes more of like a marsh, in a way. Just over the halfway point, about 21 minutes en route. Let's get some landing information. Let's just take care of it early. Let's get some landing information for Eagle. Alright, the runway's 3,600 feet long, 75 feet wide, gravel. Okay, we have a VASI for runway 7. Not for 2.5. Oh, and that's probably, you're not really supposed to land on 2.5, I guess, because you'd have to fly over Canada. Other than, like, if you enter the traffic pattern, I suppose. And the only approach is an indirect RNAV GPS-A. From the fix Zesek, and there's BAMV. Yeah. Okay. Weather camera available. Interesting. At HTT, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna look this up. weathercams.faa.gov. Let's just pull this up for fun. Oh, they got a bunch of mountain ones. All over Alaska. Oh, they got them at Hawaii too. A newer version is available. Yeah, okay. Okay. Eagle. Wow! And we have the weather. 120 at 10, ghosting to 18, so yeah, that definitely favors runway 7 anyway. Clear day visual reference. That's so cool though. Wow! And it tells you the direction you're looking to. Wow. That's really cool. Let's see what other airports have it. Central Airport. Yeah. There's the town. There's a general store, I believe. And then, like, Fort Yukon. And it's just totally flat other than the radar dome. Yukon River. Arctic Village. Huh. Oh yeah, and so here's where you can really see the difference, because it's cloudy up here, and if the clouds were too low to where it would obscure like any sort of terrain or anything, you have at least some reference points of things that you would need to watch out for. That's really cool. Does the lake have it? Time, Coldfoot, and Aktuvik Pass does, yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Bad day to fly into there. We flew in there a while back. I love this airport. The scenery and stuff. Bettles, Alakakit. Yeah, that's super cool. We'll have to use that when we do some flying around up through here. That's pretty sweet. Alright, showing 15 minutes en route. Let's take a look at fuel. Yeah, I think it's time to go ahead and run the fuel transfer switch. And down here, I believe, right here is the 40. Yeah, 40 Mile River runs right over here. I don't know if there are no trees or they're, yeah. They're like not really rendering much. Okay. Right off our right wing here. And I'm looking to try to see what that might be. Is that maybe Boundary Airport? Kind of sits right over by the border with Canada. Now the 40 Mile River runs back that way. Where this river would run through the Canadian border and flow into the Yukon, and Dawson would just be kind of upstream from there. Pretty scenery, but oh, here we go. Yeah, trees are starting to show up right there. I'm not sure why this is... No, maybe it's right. It looks kind of weird. Well, to be fair, it is fairly high elevation. Couple high mountains over there. You can see some higher terrain over here. I think that's Glacier Mountain. And then you have North Peak and Arctic Dome. Ah. So you see it exactly right here, this Canadian border. About 12 minutes en route. We'll probably be on the ground about 15 minutes. So here's the tricky thing though. If we look at the map, we have fairly high terrain where we would normally begin our descent. And it drops off pretty steeply as we come upon Eagle, which means we cannot really go, when I'm looking at our safe altitudes right now, the maximum in this block that I'm looking at on here now this is gonna be tricky. 6,600. And that's Glacier Mountain right here, and that doesn't sound right though. You'd want to be probably 6,800 to be 500 feet above this. Well, there's that 6425, so that should be higher. I don't know. What I'm looking at, we're going to have terrain at 4,410 here, and then it... Yeah, I would not go below 5,000 at the moment until we get past that, and then we can start lowering, but we're going to have a fairly steep, what I believe is going to be a fairly steep descent into Eagle. Well, let's go ahead and get ready for that. Our fuel. Yeah, our fuel is good there. You can turn that off. Set the altimeter. Oh, I guess it's the same. 30.15. Just turn this one notch. .7 gallons per hour, so pretty good efficiency. (9 minutes en route). I'm looking probably. So that mountain's gonna be just kind of over here. So ahead and just to the left. That might be it right here. Now that I think about it. This is probably it right here. So we can go ahead and start a descent. Let's go ahead down to just 5,000 for now. Pull our power back a bit. And we can keep some in. We probably don't need that steep of a descent. Yeah, we can tell that's where terrain is having to be patched. They do a pretty good job of making it look kind of smooth. If you have a really keen eye, you can tell. You can tell where they've kind of had to patch it, but they do a good job to their credit. They do a good job of trying to make the transition smooth, so it doesn't look too blocky. I might come back on the power a bit. Our descent is almost stopped. Right there's the road, the Taylor Highway. And we'll pass over it here in a moment, actually. And once we pass over that, then we know we'll be okay to go ahead and start coming down. In fact, right there, that's where the, so there's that mountain that's at 4410. Then the yellow out here leads to a couple higher peaks and glacier mountains over here. Further out you have North Peak and Arctic Dome. Let's go ahead and take some more power out. Let's also run through the descent checklist real quick here. We have the landing data at Eagle. Altimeter is set. Fuel transfer is done. Park and brake is confirmed released. Turn the fuel pump back on. Turn our landing light on. Go ahead and zoom in. Alright, so here is the Yukon River right here, I believe. Yeah, that's the river starting to run up that way. And so the airport's going to sit basically at the base of this kind of mountain right here. So we're leveling off here. I want to zoom in a little more. We could come down another 1,000 feet, I suppose. I don't want to go down lower than that. Let's pitch just for 100. We start seeing yellow, we'll have to pay really close attention because we don't want to get below 500 feet above the terrain. And yellow starts when you're less than 1,000 feet above it. Excuse me. Actually, very pretty over here. It gets, I figured it would get better coming up closer to Eagle. Some good mountains right over there. There's Canada. It's right there. Look at that back there. If you were to go up the river this way, eventually flattens out, as you kind of see up further, and that's where the Yukon flats. Alright, well I see the town of Eagle right here, so the airport I think is right over here. And then there's a place called Eagle Village, which is over here, like right before you cross into Canada. Like down here. We'll see it as the terrain lowers. Yeah, we're actually good to go ahead and we'll pull the power to idle. Let's lower that to 3,000. The airport elevation is, I think it was 890, no, 907. Okay. There's the airport. You can actually break off. Here's Eagle Village right here. And Canada starts like right here. Right over there. Alright, we are going to... Yeah. Tell you what, let's hand fly. And the reason is I want to be able to kind of control my descent a little bit. Let's turn out this way. Just some nice gentle movements. We're idle power. And we're actually slow enough that we can go full flaps, but let's just go half to start. Gonna give us a little extra. We'll add some power in now. And I kind of just want to maintain a nice 90 to 100 knots on the way in. Now we're just kind of flying over toward this valley. Yeah, this is beautiful. And the Yukon River looks so different over here than it did like over in Fort Yukon. There's the airport. Let's take some more power out. Stay below 98. And let's actually just go ahead and drop full flaps. I'll help us out a little bit there. A little bit of nose down trim. Add a little power in. slow our descent. It is steep over here. And yeah, let's go ahead and turn final. Let's take some power out. We're getting bumped around a good bit. I didn't quite get that turn right, but that's alright. Take some power out so we keep our speed. I don't know why that arrow says 91. It should be 98 on, yeah, full flaps. So this tape is wrong because it's confirmed by that, and that says 98. So yeah, we're okay. And add a little bit of power in. Final checks, fuel pumps, landing light, on. I thought it turned that on. Beautiful view of the town of Eagle right here. Beautiful view of the Yukon River right up against those hills. Kind of almost basically mountains. And we're plenty high. But we've got the wind pushing us pretty good. And we have a pretty good descent rate. Alright, we're 200 feet, we're stable. We're coming in a little fast and a little high, but we've got plenty of room to work with here. Adding just a little bit of power, kind of helps slow our descent. Let's take it out. We're plenty fast right now. Oh. We bounced a bit. Alright, we're down. That's not one of my better landings. All good though. Alright, but we're down. Welcome to Eagle, Alaska. Flaps up, fuel pump can come off, and good for now. Now we can go in. Can we? No. Ramps further down. I don't know what that right there. Some airport buildings. Oh well. Okay, yeah, now I see. Yeah, so that's where we turn in. Fuel facilities. I'm not much out here. It's kind of like on the edge of civilization. And the edge of Canada. Not that those two things are synonymous, but and we're 2 miles from Canada, and I mean, it starts getting really remote out over this way. Absolutely beautiful, though. Alright. Yeah, just look at that. Gorgeous. Super pretty. Alright. After landing and shutdown checklists. Alright. Transponder. Stand by. Flaps are already up, pitot heat was not used, fuel pumps are off, alternate closed, taxi light, landing light, we can turn them off. Transponder is in standby, parking brake is set, power's been below 10% for a minute. ELT is armed. Total time in service is 15.8. It's about 55 minutes the engine's been going, I would say. Avionics master off. Taxi lights and landing lights are off. Confirmed engine master. 48 minutes and 28 seconds in the air. No takeoffs or landings. I don't know how that works. Okay, strobe lights. Alright, the engine is cut. Strobe lights, position lights are off. Floodlights and instrument lights were not used, and we are good to go ahead and cut the electric master off. That's it. Welcome to beautiful Eagle, Alaska, folks. And that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for flying with me. Hope to have you aboard on the next one. And until then, take care and stay safe. We'll see ya.